want to play something here for everybody. Last night, Lakers lose the game, and I want you guys into a little bit of the post game here, because I think the post game comments were a little bit interesting, and it was talking about who takes the final shot and this and that. Remember, Lakers were down 100-97 against Charlotte. They're drawing up a play. They got enough time to take off, to get a good 3-point shot in. And then this will kind of take me a little bit more of the Luka conversation. It will take you a little bit into the Luka conversation of just how he's played so far as a Los Angeles Laker. So let me share my screen here with everybody. Let's see what we got here. Okay. I know this doesn't look good for LeBron, but that's okay. I'm gonna start it here. This is on Get Up, and I'm gonna grab a couple clips from here. But this first one is gonna be Luka being asked the question from Dave McMenamin about, final shot, who takes it, this and that. Take a quick listen here.
Play. You're the guy.
What's it like to be the guy inbounding the ball versus the guy taking the shot?
Yeah, I mean, it's both ways. He had it going, so obviously we're going to go to him. I think it go both ways. So one time it's going to be him, one time me. So I think it depends how the games go.
Okay, that's Luka on basically saying he had it going. It goes both ways. He mentioned that a couple times. It goes both ways. One time it's going to be him. One time it's going to be me. I'll tell you this about Luka. This I'm noticing very early on. Luka's, he's going to do everything he can in the beginning to try to kind of fit in and try to, not step on anybody's toes. But you could also tell this man is like, yeah, I'm one of those guys. And if Anthony Davis, I'm using him as an example, never kind of wanted to be one of those guys, well, Luka, that ain't going to be an issue. That's not going to be a problem. Take a listen to LeBron talking about the last shot.
You run the set that the coaches, JJ draws up. We executed, we just didn't make it.
All right, I'll come back to this in just a second. I'll play it, but let me just give everyone my quick thoughts on the last shot last night. That was an easy decision. There was no question of who should be taking that last shot yesterday. LeBron was 4 of 9 from the 3-point line going into those final 2 threes that he missed. He was shooting 50% from the field, 10 of 20 going into those final 2 threes that he missed. He was really the only player offensively that had any rhythm. You could say Dorian Finney-Smith, who hit 4 threes, but I don't think you're drawing up a play for Dorian Finney-Smith towards the end of that game. Luka might want the ball. Luka might say, hey, it was an easy decision yesterday because he had it going and I didn't. Luka wasn't good last night. He was 1 for 9 from the 3-point line. Why would you drop a play for Luka when you're down 3 when he's 5 of 18 from the field and 1 of 9 from the 3-point line? If that was flipped, if it was LeBron who was 1 of 9 from 3 and LeBron who was 5 of 18 and it was Luka that was basically shooting 50% from the field and 50% from 3 and they drew the play up for LeBron, I would say, well, that's dumb. Why would you do that? No, Luka should be taking that final shot. So I think yesterday it was more specific to who was playing well and who wasn't, and Luka wasn't playing well. So is that going to change down the road? Sure, it may very well change, but Bron should have taken those final 2 shots, those final 2 threes. I wish he hit one of them. He did it, but I think the decision to give the ball in put the ball in LeBron's hands was the right decision. And I don't really have, much of an argument when it comes to that. I think that the next clip that I'm going to play is going to be talking a little bit more about Luka specifically and how he's been so far as a Laker and everything else. But I think for last night, at least for me, I don't think there's really much question of who should have taken that final shot. Now, as the season progresses, okay, maybe it becomes a little bit more interesting. As the season progresses, Luka, I'm sure, is going to be a lot better than he has been over the first 3 games. And, with that in mind, then it's going to be kind of pick your poison. Maybe if it's a tie game, it's Luka making that decision of either I'm taking the shot or I'm setting up somebody. But for last night specifically, I thought it was a really, really easy decision for the Lakers. And LeBron got a really good look the first time and then had to kind of rush it on that second shot. And then that was it. when you're down 3 and you get 2 threes from LeBron at the end of the game, what more can you really ask for? They just didn't hit it. But unfortunately for the Lakers, it was coming in an L to Charlotte. So that's what I think we all pay attention to. I want to play one more clip here. And this is Brian Windhorst talking specifically about Luka. So let me just kind of give everybody a quick idea so far. So Luka so far as a Laker. All right. So this is specifically as a Laker so far. 2 games against the Jazz, 1 game against the Hornets. First game against the Jazz, 5 of 14 from the field, 14 points, 1 of 7 from the 3-point line. Okay. Against the Jazz in Utah, 6 of 13 from the field, 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. And then yesterday, 5 of 18 from the field, 1 of 9 from the 3-point line. Did have 8 assists, did have 11 rebounds, but also had 6 turnovers. Take a listen here real quick. This is coming from Brian Windhorst on what he's seen so far from Luka. Take a listen.
There's no way J.J. Redick could have drawn up that play for Luka the way he is right now. He was not good in this game. Doesn't look like he has his legs at all. He's 1 of 9 on threes in the game. He's 5 of 24 on threes since he's been a Laker. LeBron is hot in the fourth quarter, has good energy. They draw a play up that creates an open look. It's kind of a no-brainer. To me, their bigger issue with the Lakers is how to get their offense going. This team was in a great rhythm before the Doncic trade. We know that it's going to take a while to integrate them. Right now, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and Luka are all playing my turn, your turn. That's totally expected, but something that they've got to address much more than who gets the last second shot.
All right, that's Brian Windhorst right there. There is one more clip that I do want to play, but I'll wait on that for a quick second. I think what he's saying right there too from Brian Windhorst, the kind of the conversation of stylistically right now how the Lakers are playing. Guys, they got a lot to figure out. I mean, excuse me. I mean, if you really think about what this team was before the trade and what this team is trying to be after the trade, it's going to take a second. Now, I don't think that justifies a loss to Charlotte. I don't think that justifies a loss to Utah. I don't think it justifies losses to teams that are literally not trying to win. But, okay, hey, it comes with the territory. It happens. And you know, if you want to make the excuse, the loss against Utah, all right, final one before the break. Jackson Hayes only plays 7 minutes. Dorian Finney-Smith doesn't play. Gabe Vincent doesn't play. You didn't have your team. Yesterday, I don't have an excuse for you, so I don't sit as much on yesterday's excuses as maybe another game. But I think the point that Windhorst is trying to make right there of just stylistically, this squad is wildly different than they were before the trade deadline. Wildly different. You know, they had built a team and were starting to have some success with, hey, Anthony Davis is your focal point on the defensive side. Bron, you know what he's going to do. All these other guys kind of complement the roster that they had. And then the trade happened. I think 29 GMs make the same trade as the Lakers did. The only GM that wouldn't is Nico Harrison of the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, he actually made the trade, but you guys know what I'm referring to. 29 other teams would rather have Luka. But what your strengths were before are going to be completely different. I hope we don't start watching a team that's jacking up 53s a game, because I really think they're going to have an incredibly difficult time, you know, winning games this year based off of that. I know what happened with the Mark Williams rescinded trade and, you know, how that affects this team moving forward and everything else. But I do kind of find it's going to take a second for the Lakers to kind of figure out, well, what exactly are we? How can we play at our best? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? How does Luka play with LeBron? All that other stuff that comes with it. So I think that stuff's going to come. But I think up to right now, you know, you're clearly seeing a team that it's going to take a second. Here is Shams specifically on Luka.
What I keep hearing around Luka Doncic over the last couple of weeks is just the term shell shock. And that's really been his frame of mind since the trade. And of course, as you get repetition, as you get a rhythm, as you get accustomed to playing in Los Angeles, He's got a lot of familiar faces there too. JJ Redick, his coach, that's someone he's very close with. Dorian Finney-Smith, another guy that he has a very close bond with. So the familiar faces will help, but this is still someone that's trying to find his mojo, trying to find his swag in LA.
All right, I got one more clip here that I'm going to play. This is Windhorst kind of closing it off here on the Luka front.
You watch them play right now. Luka is doing a lot of standing around. You know, when he's been at his best, the ball is in his hand and he's creating. He's putting up decent assist and rebound numbers, but his shooting numbers have totally plunged. His scoring is plunged. He's averaging 15 points a game. This is a guy that averaged 34 last year. And when you watch them play, you can tell he doesn't have a comfort in that offense. You know, he doesn't exactly have any sort of two-man game working with LeBron. JJ Redick had this team in a good place, and he had to rip it all up to shreds and redo it. So it's just going to take time. I know there's a lot of excitement around the team. Tuesday against Dallas, when they come into LA, it's going to be a fascinating moment, but you really can't give a fair evaluation of this team right now.
All right, that's some of the guys from this morning. Love some of the quotes there, you know, getting a chance to kind of get their perspective on it. Okay, I want to spend some time. I want to look at some of your guys' comments here real quick, and then we'll keep kind of things moving here. All right, let's take a look here. It's all about our D. Ability to create turnovers, get easy buckets in transition. Luka and LeBron and AR to create either for themselves or others, play aggressive, and make open shots. Yeah, I think their identity, whatever it was before the trade, is a completely different identity. So I think that part is going to be, I think that part's going to be different. Let's just put it that way. I think that part's going to be, I don't know how much they're going to be able to rely on a team defensively when you have LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves as your basically 3 of your 5 players that are on the floor, right? What of those 3 players are any of those players positioned defensively minded at this stage? LeBron was at one point. Reeves can give you all the effort that he can. So can Luka, but it doesn't matter. Guys are going to get past him. So you can't have 3 out of your top 5 guys that when they're on the floor together, you can't really look at them and say, oh, well, they can be a defensive team when you could almost call it 3 liabilities on defense. Let me keep going here. Not true. 29 other GMs. Minnesota reportedly said no for Ant-Man. Okay, let me give you a little insight on that one as well. If, hypothetically, the Minnesota Timberwolves had assurance that Luka was going to sign with the Minnesota Timberwolves long-term, they would have traded Anthony Edwards. My opinion. I think they would have traded Anthony Edwards. Maybe not. Actually, you know, now that I think about it, maybe the upside they see in Ant. I mean, they already made one idiotic trade in trading Karl Anthony Towns, so who knows what they would do. But I think if there was any fear from any of these other teams in a trade for Luka, it had more to do with, will Luka sign here long-term? And I think that was going to be the questions. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.